Hey guys, this is Matt Wenning at winningstrength.com. And today's video is the difference between general and special training. Now, before we get into this, please subscribe and like on the bottom end of this video before we get into what this actually means. Now, I was introduced to some of these topics in my late teens, early 20s by Istvan Bali, which was a guy that we heavily studied at Ball State University while I was there getting my undergraduate and master's degree. This guy was also a big portion of periodization that we utilized at IPI, which was International Performance Institute in Bradenton, Florida, where I did my first internship in 2003. Now, the big difference is, and what I want to start this statement off with that I think will help you get a grasp of these particular areas is this. The richer the athlete's various skills, the faster the athlete masters new and special skills, and the more flexible is the application of these skills. What does this mean? Well, this means that if we show up and we want to be, let's say, a great powerlifter, for example, it would make sense that we were already fairly flexible. We already had really good athletic coordination. We had a decent amount of endurance to be able to take lower rest periods. And we also had a decent amount of strength and coordination with different movements, making it easiest for us to coach. I find a lot of people that get into powerlifting tend to get into powerlifting because every other sport may or may not have gotten them in at a moderate or high level, i.e. they didn't make their varsity football team or they didn't make their varsity wrestling team. These can be huge problems down the road when they get, say, 22, 23, 26, and they're really pushing the powerlifting without their athletic base. Me, for an example, when I was a kid, BMX biking was everything, and I lived right across the street from a private pool. So every summer at 6:30 in the morning, we'd get up and go to swim practice till around 8 o'clock in the morning for about 10 or 12 weeks a year, which I absolutely hated. But over time, my shoulders and my lats and my arms gained some size and strength, as well as the flip turns and the block starts in swimming. Producing that down the road, my leg strength became apparent through BMX biking for miles and miles a day in the summertime and in the fall and spring. These would be considered general preparatory exercises. Now, in an ideal world, what I would have done is went into tumbling or gymnastics at 4 or 5 years old and been able to walk on my hands, climb up ropes, be able to do pull-ups and things of that nature before becoming a great powerlifter. That may have helped my development happen even faster with more performance and less time trying to develop off-season developmental factors, meaning most of us don't become great at powerlifting until we're in our mid-late 20s, or some of us are even retired by then. But what you find is that the more athletic someone is coming into the lifting realm, the faster they're going to be able to make progress. So I find that this is huge. Now, we ask ourselves, what's general training, or GPP? This is a definition based on general movement aptitude. So this means, if you're a good lifter, can you have great mobility? Do you have great dexterity and coordination? A lot of these things are developed in GPP phases, i.e. if you go on the website and get the off-season manual, we do a lot of unilateral training, meaning single leg or single arm work, with a lot of unstable training modalities. The reason is because we're trying to innervate more tissue in different ways. If all we do is squat with a straight bar and straight weight, the exact same stance, I think a lot of us have known that there's a ceiling limit to the volume, intensity, and the mileage that we can sustain doing that. So SPP for a powerlifter would be the barbell back squat in its perfection, is meaning no box, no chains, no bands, just free weights. We can only get so far using that modality because the only thing we can change is intensity and volume. This becomes super important. So there is a balance between GPP, which is general physical preparedness, which is something like what you would see in the off-season manuals. And then we have SPP, which is specialized physical preparedness, which could be done in an assortment of ways of periodization, either through conjugate training, block training, linear periodization, all of which we have manuals on the website. But the point is that you can't stay in an SPP phase or a general strength phase forever. You have to throw in some hypertrophy. You have to throw in some coordination and proprioception and more off-season training. These things are very, very important to rotate without making sure that you miss the main points in your training. Meaning that even in an off season, you still need to be able to strain. You still need to be looking at doing things that look like squats and bench presses and deadlifts, but they have variety and variation to develop all different kinds of strength, right? We have static overcome by dynamic. We have starting strength. We have eccentric and concentric strength. We have isometric strength. And then most importantly, we have different dynamics of strength, meaning strength, speed strength, or explosiveness. All of these carry a certain weight to making you absolute strong that you need to make sure that you're not ignoring in a yearly cycle. So again, GPP or general physical preparedness and SPP both need each other almost equally. You can only build a tall pyramid if you have a tall base. And if you look at it as a pyramid standpoint, the GPP is the base of your pyramid and the SPP is the top crown. So I hope this video starts to get you guys to understand why maybe in a 6-month or 1-year process, you're going to need different training ideas in order to keep making progress, because doing the same thing over and over again will eventually no longer elicit a greater result. So this is Matt Wenning at winningstrength.com. Hop on and talk to us either online on the website or hop on online coaching, and we can design this all for you based on your needs and the time in which you can provide to do the workouts. Talk to you guys soon.